I play another game that is actually worse than League of Legends, where I'm relatively well known. It's also a game where the players are demographically old. In EVE Online, I'm considered on the young side because I have a vague idea of what lit means, but in League, if an e-girl support calls me daddy, it's probably because she's interested in a paternity test. Since I'm old, that means I have the reaction times of a sloth on Xanax. In EVE Online, we spend a lot of time theory crafting the best doctrines, and that's one of my favorite parts of the game, so I've applied it to League. I also want to win by whatever strategy I can. I love coming up with new ones, and I have absolutely no compunction about people saying that I'm cheesing. Unless you are a literal pro player, if your goal is to get the highest ranking possible, you should use whatever champ or strategy works best for you. Mark Merrill isn't going to hop into your Discord call and congratulate you and say, "You're stuck in plat 4, but you did it the right way, only playing the meta." The downside is that you may not learn some of the proper fundamentals. When I was a young kid in elementary school, I had already learned how to hold a pen by myself, and my teachers kept trying to correct me and get me to hold it the proper way. But I'd already gotten used to doing it a weird way. In fact, I'm writing this script for this video that I put down on pen and paper, and I'd say I have perfectly acceptable handwriting. When I started formulating this strategy, I spent a few weeks mathing it out and testing the assumptions in the practice tool. But eventually, you need to see if your strategy helps you climb or not. I'm a support main, so the first thing I needed was a duo partner. I made a post on some of the League Make Friends subreddits asking for Swain players because I was pretty sure that this was the best for the plan. More on that later. I had one Swain player take me up on the offer. He was gold 3 and he had like 4 friends who sat in his Discord and watched him play and marveled at his high level of play and incredible skills. They would always tell him how great he was at League and be like, "I wish I was as good as you." I've never seen a hype squad with more suck than these guys. Speaking of suck, he told me that he made deals with not one, but 2 women, that when he hit Challenger, they would, I'm not sure how to say this politely, they would give him oral pleasure. I was like, "Yeah, dude, nice. If you hit Challenger, they're going to hook up with you?" And he replied, "Well, Challenger rank 1. After a few seconds, I was like, "Oh, okay. Good luck with that." We played 5 games together before he decided I wasn't up to his skill level. So I went back to the most fertile breeding ground of nerds I had access to, EVE Online. In EVE, I'm often leading groups of hundreds or sometimes thousands of players, and I have to keep them entertained when things get boring, so we'll talk to each other. It's kind of like streaming, except if the chat could key up and talk back to you, so it's actually much worse. So I throw out that I'm looking for someone to play Swain, and wouldn't you know it, that a guy I've flown with for 5 years pipes up and says he can play, and he has hit plat several times. He sent me his summoner name, and this season is currently gold 1 after 450 games. He told me that he was realistically a diamond player, and I, being the very tactful person and nice guy that I am, hit him with this: "You are a delusional League player." Okay, it was a bit harsh, but he had played a lot of games and was currently in gold, and so he was the perfect test bed for this strategy. The key to this strategy is double support items. I cannot tell you how many games people ping our support items because they don't understand how the penalty works, and sometimes players even pre-tilt because of them. We usually try to say some soothing words, coo at them like a mother bird, and if they are still hyperventilating, we drop the smarmy "check the win rate" on them. The reason for double support items is because even though you do get penalized, it will eventually go away, but in 99% of all situations, you will greatly out-earn the enemy lane. Here is a graph of our Swain stats in Diamond compared to the average Diamond Swain early game. So you can see while the average Diamond Swain bot has a little over 100 gold behind the opponent, in this 25 game period, we were almost 1,300 gold ahead of enemy laners. And we did this with less CS per minute than other Swains were getting. The key is that every time you interact with enemy laners, you get 20 gold and they don't. So we freeze and we try to deny every CS that we can, because if both laners miss a CS, but we hit them with one ability, we are now up 20 gold. Normally, both sides losing CS would be an even trade at best, but because of our bot laner getting the Spellthief's Edge, we win the trade every time. We have another method to guarantee we get gold even quicker with this item, and I'll get to that later. The important thing to remember in the early laning phase is that for the first couple of levels, you need to let your enemy push you in. Sacrifice as much CS as needed, farm your procs off the support item, and set up a freeze at your tower as soon as possible. The support item is much less gold efficient in combat stats than a Doran's item. It only has about 200 gold of combat stats, and the rest is tied up in mana regen. Doran's items are about 500 gold worth of combat stats, so you're starting 300 gold down in combat stats. The neat thing is that a Doran's item will never get better, but as you upgrade your support item, it'll become worth about 3 times as much as a Doran's item. You just need to get there safely. There are 2 great things I haven't mentioned about the Spellthief's Edge completion yet. When you transform your Spellthieves at the end of the 1,000 gold quest to the final form of Shard of True Ice, 2 things happen. First, the game views this as a legendary item. This means it counts towards your mythic passive on your mythic item. So, you immediately get free gold as soon as you buy your mythic item. Remember, your support item has given you 1,000 gold from your quest, It's worth 1500 gold in stats, and now the mythic passive will get you another 350 free extra gold. The second is that once it's fully transformed, you no longer get the farming penalty, which means that you can now farm freely and not lose any gold. I haven't mentioned the support yet, but they should get Relic Shield or Steel Shoulder Guards. Both of these items have the passive that lets you pass CS over to your laner. This is really important because early on your bot laner will be in penalty quite a bit, so this item lets you hand over your cannon minions to them with no penalty, which effectively lowers how much gold they lose. The last important thing the support item opens up for your bot laner is it lets them purchase a Vigilant Wardstone. This is the support item that lets you hold 3 pink wards, but it's so much more than that. It's no exaggeration to say that this is the most efficient item in the game. For 1100 gold, you get a legendary item that counts towards your mythic passive. It gives you 150 HP and 15 ability haste. But at level 13, it transforms and it gets the passive that gives you a 12% of your bonus health, AD, AP, and ability haste. This passive is typically worth about 1100 gold value when we first pick it up, on top of the extra gold from the mythic passive, the base stats, and the ability to carry 3 pink wards and place 2 of them. You should be buying this item most every game as close to level 13 as possible. Usually this will be your 3rd or 4th item. Okay, so I've explained a lot about how gold efficient this build is. So now we have to start thinking about second level strategies on how to maximize our gold income using the support item and getting that thing converted to the final form ASAP. I mentioned how we use Swain as our bot laner, and we tried out a lot of supports with him. We did a ton of Zillion games. He works great, and at level 6, sending an ulting Swain at super speed to the enemy team while being able to make him not die is amazing. But in some matchups, it could be really hard to farm stacks for the support item because Zillion is incredibly weak early, and hitting his double bombs is tough. Getting close enough to slow someone is dangerous. This meant Swain had to rely on hitting skill shots like a normie, and that's not good enough for us. We tried some other things, Taric, Nami, Veigar, and they all worked, but we thought that we could do better. Then I decided to test how Trundle Pillar interacted with Swain's passive. If you've ever been pulled towards Swain after he roots you, you may think that's part of the ability, but it's not. The pull towards you is Swain's passive, and it can be activated off any hard CC every 10 seconds. Swain then gets a soul from this, which increases his HP by 5, which is doubled when he's ulting. With Trundle, you get a guaranteed CC that is impossible to miss, starting out every 20 seconds, and then you have a slow that allows Swain to throw out his root and his eye. If his eye hits, he gets another soul and more HP. Each time Swain activates his soul, you are getting 20 gold from his support item, but you are also increasing his HP, which is worth something in itself. Let's say it's worth 7.5 HP, halfway between the two numbers. 7.5 HP is conveniently worth about 20 gold. That means that every time Trundle pops up an enemy champ and Swain pulls them, Swain gets just 40 gold right then in his pocket. If he uses the root as a follow-up and then puts his eye under them, and he just procced his support item 3 times and got 2 souls, that's 100 gold and 1 interaction that you can repeat every 20 seconds. It won't always go perfectly. You won't always have max charges on your support item, but you can see how this gold advantage builds up quickly. By the time you hit level 6, you should have a big gold and HP advantage on whoever you are playing against in bot, and you can all in them for 1 kill, often 2, in almost every lane. Also, one more neat thing. Remember how I told you about the Vigilant Wardstone multiplying bonus HP? Well, when Swain ults, he gets more HP. The Wardstone will also multiply that, meaning that Swain becomes an even bigger dirty bird. I'll quickly tell you how you can build this combo, and then mention where else this double support strategy can shine. For Swain, take Conqueror, Presence of Mind, Legend Tenacity, and Last Stand. For secondaries, take Cheap Shot and Ultimate Hunter. For your runes, take Attack Speed to help farm, Flat AP, and Armor or Magic Resist depending on your lane matchup. For items, start Leandri's. Then if the enemy team has a Bruiser or Tank, you'll usually want to go Demonic Embrace, second for more burn damage and resists. After that, look to build a Zonya's, Morello's, or Spirit Visage. Zonya's against Assassins or AD heavy teams, Morello to cut healing since you can apply this very easily with your ult, or Spirit Visage against the Fed AP carry. Next, you get a Vigilant Wardstone. Your boots will always be Sork Shoes. Now all your item slots are full. If the game goes on from here, you can sell your support item for one of the 3rd items you didn't build. If the game goes really late, you can sell your Wardstone for a 6th item, but you will very rarely get there. For Trundle, go Guardian, Font of Life, Second Wind, and Unflinching. Secondary is Biscuits and Approach Velocity. The build is very simple and doesn't change. Start with Steel Shoulder Guards, then Locket, then into Knight's Vow, then Wardstone. You will very rarely get past this point. The way you play Trundle is somewhere between a tank support and an enchanter. Once you get the Knight's Vow, Power Spike for Swain is huge. It's very important that Trundle stays alive in fights. Put your Knight's Vow on Swain, you give him several hundred extra HP each fight. Your goal is to stay alive, and use Trundle's passive to gain HP when an enemy dies. Especially if you are standing on your W, this can be a lot of health. This means that even if Swain drains you below 30% from the Knight's Vow, you'll get more HP and Swain can tank even more damage. Use your Q-Chomp to steal AD from people hitting Swain. You can use your pillars in more creative ways here to deny avenues of entry or escape to the fight. Lots of Trundles will ult the tank to steal the most resist, but I try to save his ult for the most fed champion on the enemy team. You will steal some of the resists from them and do HP damage. This will help Swain kill them, and that's the most important thing. I usually end the game with doing something like 6k damage as Trundle, and I always feel very impactful. Remember, Taric does the least damage of any champion in the game, but no one says he's not impactful. If you play Trundle right in this duo, you will feel that impactful. I mentioned there are other combos that you can run with this, and that's true. Any AP champ who wants to gold accelerate bot lane and wants to trade with the enemy can work with this, but you want to stay away from people who mostly want to farm and push waves. You want to hold freezes and interact with the enemy laners to deny them and feed yourself off the support item. Probably the second best combo we found is Victor with Janna. Victor Q shields him, and Janna can shield him, so he can walk up and take trades for free while gaining gold. Once Victor hits 2 items, he becomes an insane threat, and this can get him there much quicker with some free AP and wards to boot. Seraphine works well if you build her like a carry. You can also do the Sarasona bot lane that is becoming popular now, but that lane works a little different. AP casters who mostly want to farm minion and avoid gauges don't work here. Ziggs, Karthus, and Vega are better off with Doran's Ring. We haven't tested everyone in bot lane yet, so there's a lot more to discover. You may find something even more broken than our combo. So it turned out that my duo wasn't a delusional league player, and we're both higher than we've ever been before. And the guy who dropped me after 5 games who was going to hook up with some babes after he hit Challenger 1, he climbed to Gold 2, which I'm hoping gets him a shoulder massage or something. This is the first in a series of videos I'm doing, and I would really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and like this video. As I write this in my horrible handwriting, I currently have 0 subscribers, so the YouTube algorithm will clearly place me in Iron 4. My next video will be out next week, and I'll explain how you can have the Ghost Summoner speed all the time, which is just a little bit broken. With that, I leave you with a moment where I learned something on my climb. My ult is up.
Oh. I'm not diving that.
Really?
No.
If we root him, he just dies immediately.
Power plus his 4th shot scares me.
I fear no man, but that thing... DJ Stank Boo TV scares me. Oh, it's DJ Stank Boo, thank you. Oh, it's DJ Stink Booty.
What? What?
I thought it was DJ Stank Boo, thank you. It's DJ Stank Booty.